In 1891, a chronically depressed Russian composer named Tchaikovsky sailed across the Atlantic, wept happy tears in his diary about how much New Yorkers loved him, and cut the ribbon on a shiny new music hall on 57th Street. He had no idea he'd just started a 70-year relationship that would end in a building almost getting demolished for a parking garage and a broken engagement announced in the New York Times. Welcome to the most petty rivalry in American classical music: Carnegie Hall versus Lincoln Center.
For decades, Carnegie Hall was simply it, the place. Toscanini conducted there, Judy Garland recorded a legendary comeback album there in 1961. The Beatles played their first American concert there in 1964, presumably confusing several elderly subscribers. And for 70 years, the New York Philharmonic called it home. Then, in 1962, the Philharmonic packed up and walked out for a brand new 10-years-in-the-making complex a mile uptown called Lincoln Center, built, ironically, by bulldozing an entire working-class neighborhood to make room for high culture. Very on brand. Here's the twist. The Philharmonic's shiny new hall was acoustically cursed. Architects designed it for 2,200 seats. Then someone said, make it as big as Carnegie, and crammed in 2,800, wrecking the sound instantly. They renovated in 1976. Still bad. Renovated again in 1992. Still bad. It took until 2022 and $550 million to finally fix it. Meanwhile, Carnegie's acoustics have been basically perfect since Tchaikovsky's opening night. Carnegie, abandoned and unprofitable, was actually slated for demolition in 1960 to make way for a skyscraper, saved only because violinist Isaac Stern led a campaign to buy the building back. So really, Lincoln Center almost killed its own rival by leaving it. And here's the part that sounds made up, but isn't. In 2003, the two institutions announced with enormous fanfare that the Philharmonic would leave Lincoln Center and remarry Carnegie Hall. Merger papers, joint statements, the works. 4 months later, they called the whole thing off before a single rehearsal happened, both sides citing irreconcilable differences over who'd be in charge. New York's oldest orchestra got left at the altar by its own ex. So the feud continues quietly, one still asking how you get to Carnegie Hall, the other still practicing.